Good morning. Happy Friday to you. Thanks for being here. We have a very exciting program. In fact, I can't wait for some of it. I think we'll get a few laughs out of it as well. But before we get too far, I would like to start with a reflection, as we always do. This one is one of my personal favorites. In fact, I've used it before, as recently as this week. But I think it bears repeating. It's one that's very meaningful to me personally, and has actually quite literally stopped me in my tracks at certain moments and changed my course of action. So I hope that you find some meaning in it as well. If I decorate my house perfectly with plaid bows, strands of twinkling lights and shiny balls, but do not show love to my family, I am just another decorator. If I slave away in the kitchen, baking dozens of Christmas cookies, preparing gourmet meals, and arranging a beautifully adorned table at mealtime, but do not show love to my family, I am just another cook. If I work at the soup kitchen, carol in the nursing home, and give all that I have to charity, but I do not show love to my family, it profits me nothing. If I trim the spruce with shimmering angels and crocheted snowflakes, attend a myriad of holiday parties and sing in the choir, but do not focus on Christ, I have missed the point. Love stops the cooking to hug the child. Love sets aside decorating to kiss the husband. Love is kind, though harried and tired. Love doesn't envy another's home that has coordinated Christmas china and table linens. Love doesn't yell at the kids to get out of the way, but is thankful they are there to be in the way. Love doesn't only give only to those who are able to give in return, but rejoices in giving to those who can't. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. Video games will break, pearl necklaces will be lost, golf clubs will rust, but giving the gift of love will endure. Merry Christmas.
Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you. So today we have several things in front of you on your tables, things that you're familiar with. If you're interested in a chance to win the door prize, Katie, what do we have? A duffel bag?
Duffel bag, a no-go tumbler.
A duffel bag and no-go tumbler. Please fill those out. We also have the comment card, so we continually look for your feedback and we make changes based on what you say. And also information on our next No and Go Friday, January 13th, Friday, January 13th, integrative health presentation with our providers, and maybe something of Janelle's here that we'll save for later. So I'll go ahead and introduce our presenters in order of appearance. We have quite a show orchestrated for you today. Janelle Baldwin is here, our zone fitness trainer. Steve Little, of course, our president and chief executive officer. Dr. Heather Schmidt. Where's Heather? I've not seen her. Oh, there she is in the back. Thank you. She is our family medicine physician and our health and wellness medical director. And Gretchen Rauls. Where's Gretchen? Gretchen's right up here. Nutrition and Food Services, Remodel Your Lifestyle 2016 success story. And she pulled off another amazing event last night too, so thank you for that. But without further ado, I give you Janelle.
I would like to invite the executives to come up in front and join me. I'm going to do a fun fitness activity. And then I would like everybody to stand, especially my Rudolph and Santa that I had planted out in the audience. And I have a little something special for our CEO, our Rudolph. There's got to be more executives, Jim, yes. Dr. DeGear, yes. Come to the front. Come to the front.
Do you want us all to stand?
Yes, everybody stand because we're all going to participate. It's a fun fitness activity that you can do with family and learn some standing abs.
Pay a lot of money for this.
So don't feel like you have to know what is going on. The handout is there if you want to follow it. Just have fun. I'm going to teach you some standing ab things that you can do. All right, hit it, Colleen. Side step and clap. Swim, 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 swim. Ready? Obliques. Other side. Good job. March in place, pump those arms, get those steps. Back to obliques, we're going to reach and tap. Okay, freestyle, whatever you want.
Come on, Mike. You get a little more rhythm.
Okay, march and pump. Rub your back sand to belly. March and pump. Swim it. Swim it. Backwards crawl. Obliques. Awesome. Steve, get into the other side. Reach back. And then our last guitar solo freestyle. Get your freestyle boys ready.
I was like, ready to do that.
This is your VIs, by the way.
VIs.
Good job. Thank you.
Hey, these stuff stayed on. I can feel that. Did you feel the heat turn up? I mean, it's one thing that you have, you're moving and you can feel your body temperature rise, but then the heat didn't it kick in while we're walking?
It did not kick in. It's just you.
Premenopausal or something. I tell you, that just takes me way out of my comfort zone. I know Mike Dries felt pretty comfortable. I can see the rigidness. Yeah, that would be a lot more fun with more alcohol. Okay? All right, let's get on with the morning. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it greatly. It's nice to see you all. I know there seems to be a bit of a buzz at Agnesian HealthCare with the season and so on. I was at any transcriptionist in this room here? Were you at the meeting yesterday? No. Okay. Well, that group is, no offense, not always the most cheerful. I mean, think about it. You sit in a little cave and you fix doctors' dictation, right? You know, it takes an interesting person to do that. Anyways, they were like skipping across the water yesterday. That's a good group you guys have down there. So anyways, there seems to be some cheer, and I feel it in this room as well. So Merry Christmas to all of you. So I have a couple words for you today, as always. This is my annual, kick it in the ass, let's go. Quit messing around. And why do I do this? That is one motivation. But you know what? You need to remember this. I do this to remind myself. Okay? I'm going to talk about some things today that are going to make some of you really uncomfortable. And you're going to be offended by them. I can tell you that right now. You're going to be offended by the words I use and so on. And you know what? I care, but I don't. Because I want to send a message. And who's the first person I want to send the message to? It's me. All right? This is therapy for me. It's a great reminder to me. Okay? Many of you think that, oh yeah, I live this incredible, well, not all of you, because some of you have seen me in action. This perfect life and da-da-da-da, and I'm relatively healthy and I'm in shape and da-da-da-da. Trust me. I don't care who you are. Mike DeGear might be the exception. It's constant work, constant reminders. I constantly fall off somewhere and eat a bag of chips. I'm constantly, you know, maybe at Thanksgiving having a couple too many cocktails, and so on and so on. So I do this for me, all right? So I just remind you all, you know, oh, it's great. You can stand up there and talk, and it's really easy for you to do. This is work for me too, all right? And so I'm going to go through some things here, and so don't be mad at me, all right? Well, you can be, but I want to remind you. I want to remind you that you're in control of your destiny, and nobody else, with some exceptions, all right? So who's more important than me? Who? Who? Are you going to sacrifice your well-being for others? Us in healthcare, we're good at that, right? We are good at that. But who's more important than me? And I think you need to think about that, look in the mirror and say, there's nobody really more important than me. And that's pretty selfish, right? And you know that's not one of my traits. Selflessness is a big, important value that you all need to have, all right? You wouldn't be in healthcare if you were a selfish person. But when it comes to taking care of someone, you need to think, I remind you, Dr. Schmidt ran in here. Why? She had to get her kids to school. So who's more important than me? And that really bums me out because my slide had animation in there and I hate when it puts up the whole slide. What happened to those, Katie? Okay, I ask you not to read through my whole slide because it'll take my whole presentation away from this, all right? So there's really no one more important than you, all right? I ask you to remember that. And I have a number of bullets here and I was going to go through them one by one. So if you read ahead, I'm going to do something really bad to you, right? Okay. Am I focused on my children more than me? Heather?
Sometimes.
Yeah, I get it. You young parents in the room, I was there one time. You've got to take the time to make sure and nurture and grow and mentor and help and care and love and hug your children every day. It is absolutely the most difficult job anyone has ever had. Who's got kids in the room? Raise your hand. Almost all of you. It is the most difficult job, right? Yep. I mean, it even goes on today. Personal story. Is my wife in the room here? She was going to come. Oh, thank God. All right, good. My 28-year-old boy broke up with his 7-year girlfriend, and my wife thinks it's like the end of the world, right? So it never ends. Every age has all these dynamics, right? Some of us older parents in the room, right? Tammy, be careful. You've got relatives in the room.
Yeah, I know.
But it never ends, all right?
They're behind me.
The next one is, I'm consumed for caring for my family. There is nothing more important than taking care of your own family. I get it. Parents, sick children, uncles, aunts, nephews, whatever it may be. And I know right now many of you are caring for someone in your family. And many times your care is sacrificing your own health, right? Because you don't have the time to do the things in your life to keep yourself healthy. Tough balance, I get it. All of these things are a tough balance, but you got to sit down and you got to figure it out. There is a way to do it, all right? Do I sacrifice nutrition and physical activity because of my work schedule? I'm too busy at work. I do that. I can't get my workout in the morning when Bonnie Schmidt schedules the 7 a.m. finance committee. There's just not enough time to get it up, you know. It stinks, but you got to do it. You got to work. You got obligations. You got commitments. All right. My challenge for you is there is a way to figure that out. There is a way to balance your schedule, and that's you move your appointments around. And granted, there are some that you can't change. Dr. Schmidt has a schedule. There's nurses in this room that have to be on a nursing floor, have to be in a clinic, have to be in surgery. You know, oh, it's a surgical nurse. Yeah, doctor, we're in the middle of this case. I've got my walk scheduled for right now, so I'll be back in a half hour. Healthcare is unique. You know, it's not like other industries. So we have challenges with that. But there is a way to do it, and it just takes a little bit of discipline, right? I'm just too tired to take care of myself. I've worked 12 hours. I was up at 5. The kids puked on the floor in the morning. You know, I mean, life is full of all these fun things, right? I'm just too tired. I will challenge you. You know this. You know this. And by the way, that's the problem with this presentation. Usually the people that come to this are really addicted to healthy living. And so I'm somewhat singing to the choir here, right? But if you take care of yourself, and you eat right, and you get enough sleep, and you take time to pause and be silent and meditate or do yoga or whatever works for you. I don't have the magic bullet for you. It's different things work for different people, okay? You will feel less tired being more active, right? If you're more active both mentally and physically, and you take care of yourself, you're going to have more energy and you're going to be less tired. If you lead a sedentary lifestyle, you're going to be tired. Bottom line, I can tell you that right now. Okay? I don't need to take care of myself. That's why we have HealthCare. I get that one occasionally out in the public, and I tell you, it's everything I can possibly do to not come unglued. 80%, I told you this last year, if some of those were here, remember, 80% of the healthcare dollars spent in America are on things that can be prevented. There are some things that can't be prevented, and we all get that. We live in healthcare, right? But 80% of them can be prevented. And so healthcare is not the solution for you to live a healthy life, all right? All right, so where am I headed with this? Buckle your seatbelts. Here's where you're going to get offended. Can you play that video for me?
I'm 5'10" and 242 pounds.
I always say this is the biggest I'm ever going to be, and I said that like 20 pounds ago.
A third of Americans are obese, another third is overweight.
Obesity is the biggest threat to the health, welfare, and future of this country.
I've always been overweight.
I've got diabetes.
Sleep apnea, heart disease.
Everything's hurting now.
It's a lot easier to lose weight than it is to keep weight off.
This is probably going to be the first generation of children who are going to have a shorter life expectancy than their parents.
18% of our children right now are obese.
It's not only health, it's about survival and well-being of the United States as a nation.
You don't crave broccoli, and our generation has grown up craving a Big Mac. I'm going to think that there's something better for me.
Unless we're able to control this epidemic, we're going to have an abundance of chronic disease.
All of us have to be part of the solution to reduce obesity.
The weight of the nation is out of control, but we can fix that.
If we don't now take this as a really urgent national priority, we are all going to pay a really serious price.
Obesity will crush the United States in oblivion.
Probably the most uncomfortable conversation that physicians have to have. In fact, I know a person on our board who said, I want to go see this doctor, but every time I go there, he tells me I'm overweight. I commend that doctor. We need more of that. It's difficult, isn't it, Dr. Schmidt?
Very.
I mean, you're trying to develop a relationship with your patient and also tell them what they need to do to be healthy. And it hurts, right? It hurts. I get it. I get it. I struggle with it, all right? And I'm going to go through these things here, but you got the video, right? That's a fact. Okay? And I had a conversation with someone in this room yesterday that said, the BMI things in our new health plan are just ridiculous. They're never going to achieve them. Perfect, Jane Stefani. Perfect. She gave the example of Andy Land training to climb Mount Everest, and he exceeded the BMI ranges, right? I get it. BMI is not the perfect measure of one's health, right? But it is a measure of obesity, okay? And they're strict, and they're going to get stricter. Why? To incent me and you to do better. We may not get them. You put goals, you put incentives out there so that you stretch yourself to be a different person at the end of your journey. Okay? We don't put them out there so you can get them so you can have reduced health premiums. That's a fact. And some people aren't going to like that. But it's reality. Right, Chrissy? Morgan? They're the ones that did it, by the way. I voted. They're the ones. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. The health plan board and the executive team. Mike DeGear did it, not me. All right, so here it is. 97 million Americans are overweight or obese. You know, and it's actually more than that. That came out of the National Institute of Health in 2011. Actually, it's about over a third of our country is obese, and over half of our country is either obese or overweight. Okay? Bottom line, it's a fact. What's it doing? It's costing us 144. These are real dollars. I didn't pull these out of thin air. I didn't make these up. I got this from a real source. It's costing us $144.6 billion in healthcare. Okay, the 39.3 million workdays are lost annually due to obesity-related health issues. And you know this. You just heard them on that video. You know, many of you who work in this industry know it. But it takes discipline, all right? And these things wreck our lives, all right? Having less weight will help you. Easier said than done, right? So here are my things that I would like you to think about. If you surround yourself with others that have similar ambitions to you, it's a lot easier to live a healthy lifestyle, okay? You're not going to be able to exercise yourself to lose weight, okay? There is no exercise regimen. You can train 8 hours a day, okay? And you may lose weight, but you're not going to keep it off. What is weight management about? What is it about? Help me, somebody.
Lifestyle.
Lifestyle, Andy, yeah, it is. It's about this right here. Bottom line, yes, physical activity, and Dr. Schmidt knows this better than I because she knows the science, is helpful to your well-being, but the chocolate lava cake at the Waupun board meeting last night did not help me, Gretchen, Rich. But it was so damn good. Who made that?
Moderation.
I ate half of it. There you go. Kelly had, yeah, I did eat probably 2. Oh, thanks, Gretchen. Okay, I ate 2/3 of it. Eat out less often. Eating out's expensive, and 2, most of the foods have things in it that you can't control. Doesn't mean that eating out is all bad. There are a lot of places you can go and get a good, healthy meal. Where can you get the best healthy meal in Fond du Lac?
Cafeteria.
Amen to that. Granted, I've got the people that do that, but you can't. That's a fact. Thank you, all of you. Really appreciate it. Okay? Educate yourself. Go to things like this. Go to seminars. Look at the net. Do this. Do that. Get educated. Read books. Be a lifelong learner and what it means. Okay, there's no secret solution. There is no perfect prescription that Dr. Schmidt can give you that's going to work exactly for everybody in this room. We're all different. We all lead different lifestyles. We have different ambitions. We have different living circumstances. We have different emotional states. We have different financial conditions. All those things affect health, right? Dr. Schmidt and Dr. DeGear have told you that before. All right? There's no magic bullet, all right? But pick the thing that works for you. 2 minutes. Reprioritize your life. All right? What does that mean? That means, oh man, I've gotten in this rut of getting up. I used to get up at 4:30, now I'm lazy and I get up to probably 5 or 5:15. But now I like to have a cup of coffee before I go do my exercise. And so, in some ways, that's cut into my physical activity. And so I need to reprioritize that, get my ass out of bed at 4:30, and be more disciplined, all right? Find a physical activity buddy. Find somebody that holds you accountable. Anybody know Tim McBride? He's a dentist in town. Anybody know him? Tim's an awesome dude. But I see him, and he has a friend, and he's told me before, they're friendly and they do social things, but not very often. But when they see each other is when they do their do their workouts together. And so find a buddy that has similar interests to you, that you like, who can help you, motivate you. They also hold you accountable. Hey, where the heck were you? You let me down Friday. You didn't show up. Okay? This is the most simple thing about weight loss, and it is the most difficult thing, right? Burn more calories than you consume. That's it. More burn, less intake. I'm telling you, I get it. I'm with you. There are some days it's like I lose all control, right? It's tough. And lead a disciplined lifestyle, all right? What does that mean? That means that 90% of you who I handed a turkey to, his cars were absolutely disgusting. Take 30 minutes and clean your damn car out. It's gross. Seriously, you know who you are. It's sick. Lead a disciplined lifestyle. Do I lead a disciplined lifestyle 24/7? Absolutely not. And so that's what I want to end with for you today. And that is, help yourself lead a more meaningful life, all right? Certainly weight has an aspect of it. By the way, do I think less of people that have weight issues? No, we're all people. We're all God's children. We were made to be put on this earth, and we all have a purpose. And some of us have different shapes and sizes and so on. I ask you to think about it and try to improve your overall condition. All right, you'll be better. It'll improve your self-confidence. You want to be proud of you, right? You want to get up in the morning and be proud of you. And you know what? The number one thing is do it for the people that love you. Take care of yourself. All right. All right. So, Dr. Schmidt is up. I have a couple last words for you. Please know this. If you take these words literally, and there are people that do this, and I'm trying to, let me see if I can find somebody in the room. By the way, Phyllis, you guys all know Phyllis Munson in the back? Mm-hmm. She, what an incredible journey. She and I were walking through the concourse the other day, and there was like 3 people on walkers, and not that old, walking, remember Phyllis? Walking through the concourse like this. And I stopped Phyllis and I said, keep working out, because you and I don't want to keep being active, right? Doesn't mean you have to run a marathon. Doesn't mean you have to run a 5K, 10K. Be active, whatever that means for you. Swat flies in the morning and do jumping jacks, whatever works for you. But Phyllis ran the Turkey Trot, and she's going to be doing a half marathon in Florida here in January. Pretty darn amazing. Diane, this finance department, boy, I tell you what. Diane, I saw her at Schmidt's drinking beer one day on Sunday. The good news was she had just finished a half marathon right here. Right here. You don't think it's possible. Doesn't mean you have to run the whole thing, right? Just do it. The beer tasted pretty damn good. And I had done nothing all day. Made me feel a little... But here's the deal, all right? If you take these words to the extreme, and you go off on this tangent where you watch every single absolutely thing that you put in your mouth, you read every label, you never have what you consider to be fun food or fun activities, you will go crazy, okay? It's a balance, all right? You have to remember that. You got to mix the good with the bad. It's just that you got to have more good than you have bad, all right? That's important. I'm telling you, diet, 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 diet makes a massive difference. This culture in Fond du Lac is not, diets are not healthy. I can tell you that right now. And so if you flip your diet just a little bit, you're going to see amazing, amazing changes. You mix that with a little physical activity, and life will be good, all right? Keep it in balance. Do the stupid things occasionally. It's important to your overall well-being. Reward yourself with a couple stupid, and I know Dr. Schmidt may have a different view of this, but reward yourself with a couple stupid things every once in a while, and it keeps things in balance. So, Merry Christmas. God bless you all. Thank you, and hopefully you'll still say hi to me when you see me in the hall. Dr. Schmidt.
Good morning. Good morning. So,
It's because you.
all right, so. sorry, let me keep my thing on here. So no, I completely agree. Balance is very, very important. And that's the reason why I want to talk about, the power of positivity. So attitude makes a big difference, right? And so I want to talk this time about, we talk a lot about a diet and exercise and all that stuff, but your emotional well-being and social well-being is just equally important. And so being positive and having that positive outlook is very important. So think about that. So are you a positive thinker, glass full? Or are you a negative thinker, glass empty? So it depends, right? So a lot of different situations in your life can lead to you being positive or negative. So this time of year, a little challenging sometimes, right? We have a lot going on. Like I was running around this morning. My husband had to leave at 5 o'clock this morning, and I had to get the kids to school and get here on time. And then there was a traffic backup on the highway, and I thought for sure I was going to be late. But anyway, so positive thinking helps. So the power of positive thinking is not just stress management, but it does show, I even heard this on the radio last night, being a positive thinker helps your overall health. So it helps you be a healthier person to be a positive thinker, okay? And so it actually helps with stress management. It helps with your attitude. It helps the way you approach everything. That crabby patient that you're checking in or that crabby patient that you're checking out, you have a good attitude, that's going to make the whole experience a little bit better, correct? So at the end of the day, if you've been happy throughout the day, not happy, happy's not quite the same thing, but if you've been positive, then it actually helps your day go a little smoother. So health benefits that have actually been shown in studies that having a positive attitude can actually lengthen your lifespan. So you will live longer if you're happier and positive, okay? Lower rates of depression. So depression is not the same as, you can be depressed and still have an optimistic attitude sometimes, right? But it lowers your risk of depression if you are just a positive thinker. Lower levels of distress in general, and greater resistance to common colds. So if you are the optimist and the person in the room that's positive, you're going to be less apt to get the cold and be sicker. Better psychological and physical well-being, we'll get to that in a minute, I'm sure you could probably figure that out, and better coping skills, okay? So there was actually a big study back in 2012. Harvard had done a study where they showed that it wasn't necessarily your optimism, people who were optimistic, and they had life satisfaction and happiness, despite what their other heart risk factors were. So even if they were overweight, even if they did have high blood pressure, even if they did have diabetes, it actually still decreased their risk of heart disease. So just by being that positive thinker. It actually had a 50% reduction in the initial cardiovascular event. So, a lot of times we think, well, I have a strong family history of heart disease, I already have diabetes, I'm just going to throw in the towel, and I'm going to be just kind of go out on life and just take my medicine like I'm supposed to, and blah, 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 but I'm not going to be very optimistic about how my life is going to go. Well, that's actually a wrong way of thinking about it. If you can be positive and say, there are things I can do to actually improve my life despite what my genes have written out for me, it actually can decrease your risk of ever having that heart attack. There's Dr. Richard Davidson. Have you guys ever heard of him before? He's a neurological researcher down in Madison, actually. So he has a center down there that actually really studies kind of brain health and emotions and how it affects our health. And they have done multiple studies that have shown that when it comes to different settings, like if you have higher stress levels, you're more susceptible to colds and flu, you have more severe symptoms when you get them, you have Alzheimer's or actual neurologic disease, wounds actually heal longer, it takes them longer to heal, and then higher risk of heart disease with depression. This study I actually liked. So what they did is they did flu shots, okay? And they said, okay, this group of you, I want you to think about something really happy, something that's happened recently in your life that's very positive and uplifting, and then we're going to give you your flu shot. And this group, I want you to think about something that's been a little tragic and maybe a little sadder that you've just been experiencing. They gave them the shot, and then 6 months later they actually measured their immunity levels. And the people who were giving this shot when they were thinking about something positive, their immunity levels were actually higher than the people who were thinking about something negative. And so just the way your body responds and the way that your body reacts when you're actually given adversity, or a shock, which could be viewed as adversity, is actually going to affect the way you respond. So positive outlook helps with stress management. We have just a little bit of stress in healthcare, right? Just a little. We have lots of changes happening, a lot of things that are kind of happening way above our level that we're learning how to deal with, learning how to cope with, trying to figure out how it's actually affecting our day-to-day life and how we can still be positive, right? And so stress management, all of those things Steve talked about certainly help with that, right? So if you're exercising, if you're getting your sleep, if you're eating a healthier diet, if you have a good social support network, that's going to help you with your stress management. But there's actually chronic stress will deplete your ability to be happy. So it's really important for prevention's sake that you need to make sure you're taking good care of yourself. We have this, this stuff is not going to necessarily change. I mean, you never know what's going to happen after our new president gets in, so who knows. But we're going to have still continued change in our field of work especially. Positive people usually lead a healthier lifestyle, like I said. They are usually taking care of themselves. They're usually getting their sleep. They're usually not smoking. They're usually not drinking as much. Occasionally, it's fine, right? So, I mean, it's one of those things, everything in moderation. But they're actually eating better. They're more active. And so positivity is something I just really want to emphasize. But this one I like. So have you guys read anything lately? It's all over the news about burnout. Professional burnout. It's not just in healthcare, it's happening everywhere, but in healthcare, I'm doing a lot with the Wisconsin Medical Society right now. Physician burnout is the data that they have, but 86% of physicians are experiencing at least one symptom of burnout. So what happens if your doctors burn out? Nobody else is happy, right? I mean, when you have crabby doctors, everybody else is affected. And so it's one of these things that we're looking at and trying to figure out how we can fix this. But this, I don't know if you can read it, it says, welcome to stress, population 5-ish billion. And just spelled everybody, right, has stress. But the burnout's kind of over the cliff. So there is a difference between stress and burnout. And so burnout, Christina Masloch wrote a book many years ago. It's actually been republished a couple times, but it's actually entitled Burnout, The Cost of Caring. So when people have jobs that interact with other people, so it could be anything from a firefighter to a police officer to a customer service agent to healthcare, we are always dealing with other people. Other people can be difficult at times too, right? So other people have different stress happening in their life. I always remember what Steve said, that when we think about the people coming into our doors at least, they're always having a worse day than we are, right? But sometimes we have a lot going on too, and so if we're dealing with our own stress in our head, and then we're dealing with other people's stress, and not everybody's nice when they're stressed out, then it actually can affect your just well-being. What this is burnout's different than just being stressed or having difficulty dealing with people. Burnout's a syndrome of emotional exhaustion, depersonalization, and reduced personal accomplishment. Okay, so this is a little bit more than just being stressed out. This is actually saying that, hey, I don't have anything left to give. I am so exhausted that I don't have emotions that I can share with anybody else. This is where I'm sure you probably know somebody maybe like this, hopefully not, but you're feeling used up. You just don't feel like you can give anymore. It's called compassion fatigue is another name for that. Depersonalization, you probably have seen some people maybe like this too, but they're feeling calloused, a little detached. You see them, they do their work, but they're not necessarily caring about it. They're not necessarily really giving the care you think they could give. And then the reduced personal accomplishment is even though you're doing what you view as your best, you still feel inadequate. You still feel like you're just a failure and you're not able to do your job like you should. This is a big problem, okay? This is not just stress. This is not just, hey, go exercise and get over it, suck it up and deal with it. This is a big problem. So if you feel like you're at this point, you need to make sure you're reaching out to somebody, because there's a lot of things that can be done to help with this, okay? And so I wanted to bring this up because I think in healthcare, it's a big deal. So I think we need to make sure that we're looking around and caring for other people. There's a cure to this. It's called resiliency. So think about people and how, you know, some people have had just a horrible childhood. They've really, really dealt with a lot of adversity in their life, but somehow they still smile, they're still positive, they're still able to just rise above it and just really be able to do amazing things with their life. That's resiliency. So resiliency is that ability to kind of adapt to chronic stress or chronic negative things that's happened in your life, that you can actually bounce back and still be a productive member of society and enjoy it, okay? So resiliency is something that we need to do, and how you become resilient is a couple different ways. A lot of times your parents raise you to be that way. They kind of teach you to just go ahead and pull yourself up by the bootstraps and move anyway. But giving, I like this, giving of yourself must be balanced with giving to yourself. So we are constantly giving of ourselves in healthcare, correct? But we have to, like Steve said, really give to ourselves. The most important person is us. We have to make sure we're taking care of ourselves. If we're not taking care of ourselves, we can't take care of all those people walking through the door. And so it makes you a better provider. It doesn't mean you're selfish. It actually means that you're just aware of what you need to do in order to be healthy and well, and to be a good example for your patients and the people that you interact with every day. So this one's hard. So it says, take time off to relax. Anybody good at that? I just got back from Mexico, so I'm actually feeling pretty good right now. To mix periods of undemanding work with the more stressful ones. So instead of continuing to add, and more stress and more difficult things, think of some of those things that maybe are on your to-do list that you just need to get off your to-do list. Is kind of the meaningless work. Get rid of it. Just that way you're mixing it in and it helps balance your day a little bit. Jobs spill over into your home life. That's easy to do, right? It's hard to just walk away, but really, really concentrate on that, especially in the next year. Think about, okay, my work is my work, my home is my home. I'm going to really say, okay, when I walk out of here, I'm going to let it go. I'm going to have a little decompression time, and then I'm going to be home and be present and be mindful of what's going on in your own home. And so, like Steve, this is a good talk for me too. I struggle with this. And so it is something that we need to just really as a group work on, okay? So, but what about work? So how can we have a healthier and happier workplace? So I think we do a really great job here. I think for the most part, we have people that are really engaged. We have people that are not burnout. We have people that are really, really loving what they do, and they really just seem like they're happy to be here. But other ways that you can help is this. So express gratitude. If somebody does something that you really, really appreciate, just tell them. Say thank you. Yesterday we had our department meeting and it was so great. Jess, our supervisor, she says, okay, we're going to start with something new. Had to go around the room and you had to look to the person on your left and thank them for one thing and why you really appreciate them. It was really heartfelt. Everybody was just very, just touched, and you could see it. Everybody was embarrassed when they were talking about them, but then for the most part they were able to just pay that forward. And so really tell people, if you know that there's something that people are doing that just every day makes your life easier, thank them for it. And that will then, hopefully, you might get thanked for something too. And so try to just have this attitude of gratitude. Every day, if you start your day with just saying that what you're thankful for, 3 things you're thankful for, that can help just improve your overall attitude and outlook on life. Be mindful. So we hear this a lot. I know Dr. Norton was here last month and we talked about mindfulness too. So we can't really stress this enough. We are always going. Always thinking about what's to come. Always thinking about what we did yesterday. Maybe we didn't do something right. Maybe we're thinking right. We're just run. Try to, especially during the holiday season, really just be mindful of what's going on in your day-to-day life. Be thankful, again, just thinking, and just really live in today, okay? Get your exercise. Can't really say this enough. Exercise is really important, if not for weight loss, really, just for mental health. I don't know about you guys, but I think really when I'm not doing my exercise, I'm really stressed out. That's when I'm really kind of freaking out. I'm not sleeping well, and I'm not able to really breathe, be mindful, any of these other things if I'm not doing my exercise. So it is something to really think about. Even if it's 10 minutes, just get something in. Take the stairs a couple extra times, or just get up and do some jumping jacks. Move around, and just it will help you just be happier. Grab somebody along the way. You know, find your work buddy or your exercise buddy and say, hey, let's do this at lunch. I really need this for my mental health. Establish mentoring relationships. Are any of the departments doing this currently? Do you know? Having any kind of mentoring relationships with maybe somebody who's a little more seasoned with somebody who's new? I think that's great, and I really think it's something we should do organization-wide, because there have been some studies that show that when you have new people coming in and they have a mentor, they actually are much less likely to leave the job. They're going to be more engaged, they're more connected, and so this is something I think that we could work on too, really working to how we can help our colleagues in that environment to just be more optimistic. Feeding your mind, always constantly learning. It's our intellectual dimension of wellness, our personal and professional development, we call it now. But really always learn, learn, learn. So whether you're reading online, whether you're coming to these type of talks, whether you're just reading a book, whatever it is, it doesn't even have to be this any type of healthcare related field. Just read about something and just always constantly feed your mind. Recognize your coworker for a job well done, like I said, and then remember your meaning and purpose. So I can't stress this enough either. We know we're here for a reason. God puts us all on this earth for a reason, and we just need to know what it is so that we can make sure that we're able to fulfill that. And so make sure you're really thinking about that, especially during the holiday season, and just really work on trying to fulfill that purpose. So that's all I have.
Go, Gretchen.
Thank you, Tammy. All right. Hi, my name is Gretchen Rauls, and I've been with Agnesian HealthCare for 21 years. And all of those years, I've worked in various roles within food service. I wanted to start today by addressing the fact that I am very nervous and terrified of standing in front of all of you. Even though I know many faces in this room, giving this presentation is very out of my normal realm of things to do, and it truly challenges me. But my new philosophy lately is, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. So I say, bring on the challenge, let's do this. I'm up here today because my hope is to reach that one person who is afraid and worried about change, but really, really wants to make a transformation to their everyday life. And hopefully I inspire them through my continuing journey and realization of what the Remodel Your Lifestyle RYL program truly is. When I heard an associate speaking about the RYL program at last year's December Know-and-Go, I was very interested. I knew that my life was on a downward spiral. I was not happy, I'm overweight, my health was declining slowly, and I didn't like who I was becoming as a person, and I was pretty depressed about that. I was not living the life that God had intended for me, and I knew that for sure. I looked at other women and compared myself to them. I was not skinny like them. I could not fit in the same pretty and fun clothes that they could, because the cute clothes made every part of what I didn't like about my body show. And I felt less attractive than they were. But I was afraid of change. I lacked faith in myself and God. What if I tried and failed? Would others think differently of me because of this? Would they think I was a loser or a quitter? What if my husband doesn't like the changes I'm making? What if I sweat too much? What if I break something? I spun things through my head and made many excuses and irrational statements to stay in this comfortable yet undesirable life I had created for myself. So as my first step, I decided to reach out to Janelle and ask her to keep me in mind when the application process started. She did, and I applied, shortly after I had my interview and was accepted for RYL. I felt good about this new start to my life. I told my coworkers and my family about my new program and asked for their support through this voyage and lifestyle I would be embarking upon. My initial goal was to lose weight, a lot of weight. After all, that's what this is all about, right? I was unhappy and depressed because I was fat. The program started in May. In addition to working full-time, I also started a part-time job, and so did softball practice every night for my girls. Needless to say, I felt stretched pretty thin with all of that, on top of trying to eat healthy and getting time in to work out a couple of days a week. And I learned early on that challenges were going to be popping up during RYL, as they do in everyday life. Through counseling at EAP and discussing how to control my stress, to conversations with my dietitian about some quick meal plans, and chatting with Janelle about making even a small amount of time to work out every day, these became my new goals. Small, achievable goals, things I could truly commit to, and things that were realistic. And all these baby steps helped. Excuse me. As I went through the first couple months, I found that something clicked in me. I started to understand that this program was not all about losing weight. Although that it was part of it, just not all of it. There was so much more to it than I imagined. RYL was about making changes that will affect the rest of my life and my family's life. Changes to exercise, changes to eating, changes to my mental and emotional well-being. Everything that was on the wellness wheel was what this program entailed. And I started to understand that in order to be the best to and for my husband and girls, I needed to be the best to myself, first and foremost. So taking the time to myself was not at all selfish, it was necessary. I realized through EAP that a lot of the things I thought didn't affect me negatively actually did. She helped me to think things out, talk about things with others, and write things down to help with my stress levels. These techniques started to reach outside my comfort zone again, but with my new philosophy on life, I learned to accept what was hard for me to do and make it work for the best. I started to take working out and exercise more seriously as well. I recognized that in order for me to commit to a workout or training program, I needed to have some type of goal to head towards. My first goal was the Fondy Fair 5K with my family on an excruciating hot July Saturday. That day, my oldest daughter and I walked and jogged to the finish line. My husband and youngest were only minutes behind us as we completed together. It felt good to finish. This finish line was much more to me than just an end of the race. It was the beginning of something fresh, something different. From there, someone commented on my husband's Facebook post that now he would be ready for the Tough Mudder. My husband disagreed with that, but to me it sounded interesting. I never, ever would have thought that this was something that I would want to do. Really, Gretchen? The Tough Mudder? Come on, there's no way you can ever finish that. But what if you can? Seriously, there's a lot of running. 10 or more miles of mud and running. Obstacles, more running, electrocution, and more obstacles. This is for athletes and you are not that. But what if you do finish? What if you can push through all of that? What if you don't fail? Suck it up and just do it. So I did. It took me 2 days to fill out the application and hit send. It was actually thrilling to train for this. I was terrified every single day. I'm surprised I didn't end up in the hospital with an ulcer from all the worrying I did. I tried to keep my mind off the what-ifs and pushed more and more each day on the things I knew I could do and the things Janelle made me do. I surprised myself on some things, and I was actually proud of myself. I did a 5K color run with some friends on Labor Day weekend in preparation for October 1st, my day of death. Time seemed to go by so fast from that day forward, and before I knew it, the day had arrived. What better day to get wet, dirty, and run 11 plus miles than a day that was rainy, cold, and all around just awful. But I did it, 17 out of 21 obstacles. And I finished. And in the end, I attained much more than a headband, a t-shirt, and a glass of beer. I washed away all the qualms I had about not being able to finish. I conquered fears and told myself I would get through it. I pushed myself further than I ever thought imaginable, and I recognized without friends and teammates there with me to push me and help me, all those things would not be possible. I have learned through RYL that just like everything I trained for, to complete the Tough Mudder, this program has given me the same techniques and skills to train for life, the life I want to continue living going forward. So what's next now that the program has ended? I'm still going to continue on with everything I've learned. I still journal my daily food intake. I try to make time while I'm at work to work out every day. Some days are more challenging than others, but it's a matter of what I really want. I have found that after all my reservations about running, I actually now prefer it. I have completed a 5K and the 5-mile turkey trot run since then, and as a nudge in the right direction, I have my husband started to run with me as well. He does enjoy it, even though he looks like he doesn't. I'm going to take on other exercise routines, programs, and challenges over the winter to keep me motivated and energized. And I will still turn to EAP for my mental and emotional well-being. I truly believe that the strides I have made with that have the biggest impact on who I am now. As I stated earlier, I was very self-conscious about who I was as a person and how I was viewed on the outside. With all the resources provided to me, that outlook has been reversed. And now I know that who I am has nothing to do with how others look at me or view me. I'm happy with who I'm becoming. I wear the clothes I thought I never could. I smile more knowing that I have changed on the outside, but mostly on the inside. I'm living the life that God created for me, and I'm enjoying it. And I do sweat a lot. And fortunately enough, I haven't broken anything thus far. I have not accomplished my weight loss goal yet, but I will. And I have faith that my resources will continue to help me through this new lifestyle. I know that I'm nowhere near what I want to be. However, I know that I'm not going back to where I was. Unlike other weight loss programs, which is truly all they are, RYL is a whole body change, mind, body, and spirit. I encourage anyone who is on the fence about making a change or stepping outside of their comfortable lifestyle to just try it, just do it. What is there to lose? But maybe some unwanted pounds and extra unnecessary baggage. And when that is gone, you will realize you have so much more to gain. Thank you.
Well, that was amazing. I don't know about the rest of you, but every ounce of blue in my entire being is at the surface right now. So thank you for that very inspirational story. I know it was hard for you to get up here, and wow, I don't know what to say about that. Thank you to all of our presenters. It was a great day. I think we have, actually I'm not sure we have time for questions, but I'm sure that Steve or Dr. Schmidt or Janelle, if you want a copy of that routine, I bet you she would provide that to you. And Deb, I hope we got Steve on camera with that. We got that recording. Fantastic. So please make sure you pass your green slips to the right if you're interested in getting credit for being here or a chance to win that snazzy bag. And we'll do a drawing. Maybe Gretchen, you can do the drawing for us.
He doesn't know the beginning. All right.
So there are 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Diane.
Diane, congratulations. Thanks to everyone for being here today. Go out and have a great weekend and keep in mind some of the things you learned here. Bye-bye.
Good day. Thank you. You too.
I know.